All right, all right, all right. Thanks for joining me on Lady Indica Dash Cam Podcast, presented by the Getting to Know Talk Show, where people plus knowledge equals solutions. Today, our dash cam and body cam footage comes to us from Cincinnati Police Department, presented by Cincinnati Police Department's Chief of Police. Now, she's going to present this video and then we're going to critique it. So we're going to pause a little bit here and there because we got to follow along and keep up with her storytelling. That's what we're going to call it. So let's jump right in.
So to give you an idea, this is 2500 Warsaw. I'm going to step out in front for a minute. Warsaw Avenue is down here. This is the long driveway. It's up a hill where the incident occurred. This is the dead end of the parking lot back here. You see vehicles there now. You see a photo of the stolen car that we talked about was back to the parking spot back there. You can see this is a stolen Kia, stolen out of northern Kentucky yesterday. You can see we have two uniformed cars there. Prior to those uniformed cars arriving, we had two undercover cars that pulled into that dead end, saw the vehicle. They backed out. They saw that there were individuals inside the vehicle, so they backed out and let the uniformed cars make the approach, which is the tactically sound decision to do. The cars are positioned the way the officers are trained. We are trained to use our vehicles as cover from any threat. That's what those officers did with the cars at that time. This is body worn camera from officer number 2. Go ahead, Bob.
Now I'm going to pause it out right there. So up until this point, you've noticed that the police chief is telling us the story by presenting pictures. All right, so let's rotate.
He's got coming on your right. He's got coming.
So again, we're going to stop right here because in the beginning when I was looking at this over and over and over, I kept thinking this guy, let's see if we can get our pointer up here. Hopefully it's working. This guy right here was actually Ryan Hinton. But after looking at it so many times, I think that might be another police officer. So to this point right here, I would say it's the police officer that's down and back behind him that we got his dash cam or body cam footage. But I'm wondering, is he shooting too? Because if he is, this guy's got to be in the line of fire with all these police officers that she just so kindly told us was going to be in the footage. So now we're going to press play again.
So just to give you an idea, we have 2 uniformed cars. We have 2 officers. There's 4 individuals in the stolen vehicle. All 4 individuals get out and start running, some in different directions. The officers decide which individual they're going to pursue. One officer decides to pursue the individual who we now know had a firearm in his hand. The other officer pursued another occupant that fled from the vehicle, and that'll be significant here in a moment when you see. So this is a still image. Again, I'm going to step out front. The car is parked over this way. Okay? They are chasing.
So I'm going to pause right here again. Notice we went from still images to a little bit of footage off of a dash cam and a body cam. All those police cars and all those officers that she says is out there on the scene. She gave us a snippet of dash cam and body cam. And then she goes back to storytelling for pictures. So let's go back into
The
it.
individual. So officer number 1 is chasing this guy right here. Okay, this is the guy we ultimately end up shooting. The other officer who actually fires the shot on this individual is chasing a different individual further out this way, in this direction. Okay? As this officer is chasing him, he sees a firearm in his hand, and he yells, "Gun, gun," he's got a gun. This individual slips, trips, whatever, falls on the concrete right here. Other officers that were also there say in their interview, they heard the firearm hit the concrete. They heard the metal firearm hit the concrete. This individual gets up, still has the firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpsters. These are some still.
Okay, I'm going to pause right here because it's noteworthy to say now. Y'all just saw a little bit over a minute maybe of her telling the story, pointing to the same picture. And she's got an elaborate story that she's telling about where the firearm was, around where the police officers were at the time, and what they were doing. So if you really think about it, she's telling you this story about what's going on the scene, and she's giving you one picture to look at. When she just showed you, she's got body cam and dash cam footage in that 6 seconds that it took to take Ryan's life. She made sure she showed you that clip on a actual camera, that records audio and video. But then she begins to tell the story by pausing on one picture of, it looks like an officer on the ground with somebody. I don't know who she's referring to it is because I can't see them, and if I could, I don't know who they are. But nevertheless, she keeps telling the story with this picture. So what I keep seeing in this is like, okay, if you can tell us this story and we can look at this picture, then you can just play the footage that you saw of this story you're telling with this picture. This is highly suspect. Why is this footage missing? All right, let's roll tape again.
Photos. This is the officer who originally saw him with the firearm in his hand, calling him out, runs through the dumpsters. This officer knows that there's another officer here that is going to ultimately encounter him when he comes through the dumpster. So he makes him aware of that. He shouts out to him, "On your right, on your right."
And I can't even stop with this. Why is she giving us a picture and telling us a story? If she can tell us the story with this picture, she can just show us the video from the dash cam and the body cam. Rotate.
He's on your right. And that's where this individual comes out from the dumpster. This is the other officer, the one who fires the shot. This is his body cam as he approaches the This is the firearm that was recovered at the scene after the individual was shot. In his hand.
Okay, again, that was some sketchy body cam footage. It almost looked like to me that it was another police officer that seemed like he was in the line of fire, but didn't know police officers get shot. I'm doing this with my naked eye, seeing a pink elephant in the room. And I paused it out on this gun because at one point she said that the shooter, or not the shooter, the guy that had the gun, which is the guy that got shot, Ryan Hinton, had the gun and then dropped it. So I don't get how he has the gun when he's running away from you. And then you say he's running away from you, they immediately jump out the car. So I don't understand where he had the opportunity to point that weapon at you, to brash that weapon in a way to try to intimidate you or anything. The scene was going so quick and things were just happening. So at the end of the day, I'm pausing and I'm dissecting and we're looking at it. But this stuff was going at, the speed of light. But how do we have a gun here that was supposed to be dropped, but all of a sudden in her story with her pictures, now it's miraculously back in his hand? All right, so let's see what we see now. Rotate.
While the officers were chasing. There's a photo of it here at Vermont Six. Remember I told you he fell on the.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just pause it right there. Here is an image of the gun, I guess when he took it back to forensics to examine it with all of the, identifying characteristics about it. And she's going to continue to elaborate about this gun for a minute. And once again, we'll just be looking at pictures, listening to her talk. Rotate.
Concrete, the officer said that they heard the metal hit the ground. There are 3 spots on here where this gun has scratches on it. We believe those occurred when he hit the ground with the firearm. Semi-automatic, make and model. This is a second. Sorry, Bobby, can you go back 1 frame, please? This magazine was in the firearm. That's an extended magazine, so it holds more rounds. This is a second magazine that was located in his sweatshirt pocket. Okay. That's the magazine. This is another firearm that was located inside the stolen vehicle. This is a firearm also stolen out of northern Kentucky sometime yesterday, early yesterday morning. Approximately, we believe, based on timelines, this was stolen from a vehicle in northern Kentucky, and then they went on to steal the vehicle that's involved in the incident. So because we are still attempting to 100% verify.
Okay, she just said that it was a firearm in addition to the one that dropped out the young man's pocket. And she showed you a second firearm in a picture. And then she says it was stolen from a vehicle in Kentucky. And by what I just heard, it seems like she's trying to tie that into the fact that maybe they stole that gun too. But it's a big leap. I just wanted to point that out. Okay, rotate.
The individual's identity, the individual who we shot, we're going to list him as John Doe until we can 100% verify that for you. So do you?
So that's where I'm going to stop the tape at for now. Because I just wanted you guys to really see what I seen when it came to the police chief's presentation of the dash cam and body cam footage. It was one hell of a show because it was more pictures than dash cam and body cam footage. And she had a lot of different angles to get this footage. And then it was 2 undercover cops there in the beginning. So I'm sure they could have rolled tape on something too. But we definitely got to stay tuned because this has a second part to it. And it's tragic. And this family has lost a lot. I send my condolences to the Ryan Hinton family. And I've sent my condolences to the officer that was killed the next day by Ryan Hinton's father. I believe his name is Rodney Hinton. And that's where part 2 will pick up from. Is Rodney Hinton's actions after his son was killed by a police officer. I'm not endorsing the police officer or Rodney Hinton. I will say what I do understand. Understand as a grieving father who just lost his child, just as I did. Understand, I just watched some footage that came out way too early for me with this case being so fresh. As of this date that I'm doing this podcast, I think this was marking the actual week of this happening. And this came out like 2 days ago. And the lawyer, he actually speaks with the family too. So we're going to dissect that one in a different episode. But for now, we're going to wrap it up here on part 1 and pick up with part 2 with what the father did. And then we'll have a part 3 with the family's address to the public. And then we're going to wrap it all up in a bow and make it one big video. So y'all get to see it in segments so you can take the time to dissect it. All right, my takeaway today is always be safe, sound, and know your rights and responsibilities, which actually takes me to the next slide. Your rights and responsibilities when you are detained, questioned, or arrested by the police, sheriff, or law officers. So I made a little slide up for you guys real quick to go over your rights if you are detained, arrested, or questioned. So you can know what your rights are and you will be able to deliver them and get the process in an understood manner to proceed with you being protected. That's where your rights come in, but your responsibilities make you take responsibility of yourself and control of the situation as you are concerned, meaning don't act like a fool. So you got the right to remain silent. You got the right to refuse to answer any questions, remain silent, invoke this right. State that clearly. You got the right to counsel. You have a right to an attorney. Ask for one immediately when you're arrested. If you can't afford one, y'all know we can get one appointed to you. That is your American liberty. You got the right to a phone call. You can make a phone call to your lawyer or to some other support that you might have, a family member, a friend, to let them know what's going on with the situation and get the ball rolling to get you out of jail or whatever that might look for you. You also got the right to record. You have the right to record the video, but keep in mind, don't take and record this video of your encounter with the police, whether you detained, arrested, or questioned, and let that become something that can be used as interference of this law officer doing his or her law duties when this encounter occurs. Because I see a lot of videos where people say that, and the police officers will say, like, okay, I'm recording too, but then that starts to become a power struggle. Let that go. You can let them know you're recording, but don't let it get you arrested. You also got the right to pull over to a safe place, especially my women. If you're driving down like a rural road in the dark, Route 66 by yourself, and they, put the lights on you, and they want you to pull over, and you're like totally, oh no, I'm terrified. Anything can happen. Here's what I suggest, and this is legal. You have some choices. If you feel like you could pull over and hand the officer your driver's license, you can do that through the crack of your window and let them know you're going to drive to a safe place. You'll put your hazards on. You'll drive slow, but you want a well-lit, safe place that's occupied by other people. If you can't pull that one off and you just don't feel comfortable stopping at all, immediately get on the phone with 911. Let them know where you are, what your car looks like, and that there's an officer telling you who wants you to pull over. And then have them call that officer and tell him your name so he can let them know that, hey, this driver is scared. They want to drive to a safe, well-lit place. This is their name. They're not running from you. Keep that in mind. Even to my males, that goes for you. If you don't feel safe, that is what you can do legally to get around other people in a well-lit, safe place. You got the right to refuse a search. You don't have to consent to a search of your person, your vehicle, or your home unless there's a warrant. Remember, be polite when you're delivering these rights now. Because, officers do tend to look at that as a red flag or arrogance or whatever, but that's your right. You also got the right to leave if you're not under arrest. You can politely just ask the officer, am I under arrest or being detained for questioning? If those answers is no, tell them have a nice day and you're leaving. And keep your mouth shut. You should establish that early on, in my opinion. Because we ain't going to be here talking about stuff if I'm not detained and I'm not under arrest. I need a counsel in front of me to let me know what I should be saying. And in fact, I don't even got to say nothing because I ain't arrested or detained. So I kick rocks on that one. And you got the right to know if you are arrested, why you being arrested. It is not top secret information. It applies directly to you. Don't you think you need to know? That is your right. So now let's move on into your responsibilities before we wrap it all up. Your responsibilities if you are detained, arrested, or questioned by a police officer. You are responsible for keeping yourself calm and being polite. This diffuses the situation and it knocks down the one up there. Everybody, if you say this to me, I gotta say this to you. This is not a tug of war or a power struggle. This is to get you safely through this process with this police officer so you can go home, or if you have to go to jail, it can go quickly and you can start getting to the people you need to get to. But you gotta remain calm. Because if you act like an a-hole, he gonna top you and he gonna act like one. And at the end of the day, he's got a lot of brothers in blue that he will call to come get you to calm down. So either be calm willingly or you will be calmed down unwillingly. Next thing, don't even think about resisting arrest. It's too much. You can't be trying to run, do the OJ thing, all that. It ain't even worth it because they're going to find you with all these global positionings, these cameras, the people, and all of that. It's just too much out there that you will be caught. And it's hard running from the police. You got to tell one lie after another. You always looking over your shoulder like your man playing tricks on you. You know, da, 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 da. My old schools know that song right there. So don't even try to be running, okay? Just take it like it's coming to you and work yourself out the process the legal way. Especially if you get arrested and you know you're guilty. Because the end result is if you get arrested and you know you're guilty, then you're going to jail for even more things because now you did things to get yourself in trouble. Or if you try to run, the next thing is you end up like Ryan when it's just a little stealing of a car. You end up dead. You can't come back from that. So don't resist arrest. Don't run away. Take it and go through it. Get your lawyer and get your life together. Also, it's your responsibility to give true information. Again, don't get no fake information. It ain't gonna do nothing to help you once they identify who you are or not. Because if they don't identify who you are, you're still going to jail. And if they do, you then call the charge on top of that because you lied about who you are. Can you see this? More problems. Another responsibility. Don't say nothing without legal counsel present. Keep your damn mouth shut. It's see no evil, say no evil, do no evil right now. Keep your mouth shut. If you are asked, and I know this kind of look flip side about what I'm about to say, if you are asked your name, your address, and your date of birth, those are basic questions. You can go ahead and answer those questions. I know some people will say, well, they don't need to be asking me these questions if I ain't detained or arrested. Why are you asking me all these questions? Well, in some situations, they got the right to ask you these questions. Number one. Number two, you don't know which one's situation it is. They have the right to do this. And most of the time, it's not even that this is information you feel like it's exposing you. It's just a power struggle that we try to present. Like, I ain't got to say who I am, my name, my address, and my date of birth. Come on, y'all, just nullify that. Let's just control the controllables. This will get the process started, and you on your way to going wherever you're going to go, hopefully back home. So if they ask you those basic questions, go ahead and provide that. But if they ask you some other questions about the incident or accusing you of something, that's when you want to start speaking to your lawyer. It is your duty responsibility to prepare yourself and your family. Y'all need to have an emergency plan in place in case you get arrested. When you call a family member, they know what lawyer to call. They know how to do these things, and also most importantly, you need to know your family members and your lawyer's numbers by heart. At least that family member, because when you get your phone, you can look up numbers, but you don't have your phone when you're arrested. And some officers, they'll get it for you and some won't. Don't rely on that. Be prepared. And it's weird. I have to tell y'all that. Go ahead and prepare for this, even though I hope that you guys don't get no trouble. But the way the political climate is going on now, the possibility is there that you can be harassed by a real cop. And I had another one I did on a fake cop. So we got to look out for fake cops too. But right now we're talking about real cops. So be prepared. Know your family members. In case of emergency, that's ICE. In case of emergency contact, ICE. Know that person's number by heart so they can get you to the lawyer or whatever. Because you're only going to get that one little phone call. And at the end of the day, the last thing I'm going to let you know, record, record, record. Try to get that video audio combination. If not, get that audio. Do it politely. If you're going to be arrested when you're asked to turn your phone off, do that. They ain't going to let you take it there and record the whole thing. You already know that. So minimize, what's going on with you at that point so that you can get through this process and get back home peacefully and quickly as you can, depending upon if you're arrested or not. Well, that's wrapping up today's series. Once again, this series was done in honor of Ryan Hinton, the young man who just lost his life last week in the officer-involved shooting, a Cincinnati Police Department officer. And we will be continually examining these videos coming out and trying to uncover why we got video and pictures and being told a story this way. But just remember, know your rights and your responsibilities when you encounter a police officer. And don't run, don't lie, do the right thing. Stay peaceful, stay happy, stay safe. I'm going to go ahead and lock it down now. One love always. I leave you in peace.